Hey, coming to you live from Kenny's basement apartment where I played the wrong intro song and Kenny is financing his child's tooth rebuilding with gambling.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us for this episode of Sports Allegedly on this 16th day of 2024, and that'd be March, one day before St. Patty's Day. So happy early St. Patty's to everyone listening out there.
And happy birthday to you. Did
not
you do that last week?
Not my
Is it
birthday.
yours?
No, that was Zach's.
Oh, Zach's birthday.
Zach. Yeah, I'm next month.
Happy birthday to the kid that wanted to be here but decided he was going to have to work.
He's always late. But anyway, thanks for joining us. We've got a lot to talk about. We're going to break down. We'll talk a little bit about OU football signings. The OU softball team, Patty Gasso, getting a statue. We'll break down the.
Able to?
Yeah,
is there enough time?
We'll break down the AFC East.
Is there enough
There's
time because
plenty
of the free agency frenzy?
But that's what we're going to start with.
We're starting with that?
Yes.
I was going to start with the other stuff and then get right into that.
But we can do that.
That's the meat and taters.
What do you want to start with then?
Well, we can start with Patty.
Okay.
OU's
yes.
back on the winning side.
Texas made it 1 week.
That's number one?
Yeah, that's number one. They immediately lost their first game to Houston. So congratulations, Texas softball.
Good job. Good job. You bum burners.
Beat first two games. This series this weekend was Texas Tech. Started out 12-0 right off the bat. I mean,
but didn't we?
This was today.
Did we beat Iowa State too?
Swept Iowa State
to
yes.
start.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then we're 2 up on Texas Tech.
The illustrious Patty Gasso is getting a statue, as Kenny said. So that's
Board of Regents approved that. We won 15-2 today, and then yesterday I think it was. Gosh, what was the score? Was it 9-0? Oh, it was 14-0. Yeesh. So there you go. But you know the girls today, they made their whole batting circle before they got their first out. They went all the way around. Wow, it was a 12-inning first. It was a 12-run first.
12-inning first.
Yeah, it
was a 12.
Let me back that up.
All right, Bob Euchre.
You know what I mean.
Kid from the California Penal League.
So still one loss. Obviously, after Texas lost, they moved OU, which they should, back up to number one. And
well, they should have never been out of number one.
Correct.
Even with that loss, they should have never been out of number one.
And we talked about it. We talked about it that we aren't. It's kind of, resembles last year. They lost the non-conference game to Iowa State.
Yeah, but they lost earlier. That was the deal.
It was a little bit earlier, but not so much.
I know, but they lost before they got into conference play.
Correct. Well, so did OU. We didn't lose to a conference team.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I was talking about OU, not Texas.
No, I mean OU both. No, I'm saying OU both lost before conference play last year. We just happened to. That was a non-conference game that we played there. All right. Anything else?
Nope. Baseball's done. Softball's done. Baseball, nothing.
OU baseball had a really good win last night, though.
Did they?
They beat TCU. Yes.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Yeah, TCU's usually tough.
They were ranked.
TCU?
And I think it was 7-3.
OU just doesn't get.
And they're playing them again right now. We're looking at I think it's second inning right now. They were I'm sorry, they were ranked number 12. So my apologies.
TCU?
Yes, TCU was ranked number 12. So it was a good win, and Skip Johnson, OU's skipper, got his 200th win last night also. So
you got to remember that we lost guys after we went to that title.
Oh, yeah, a bunch.
And that was sad. I was like, why don't you guys stay and complete your...
Yeah, that was way behind. So we'll go back over here. So anyway, that's a lot. But yeah, so and like I said before, I think that team, they've got enough pitching. I think even though they lost quite a few guys, I think they're set up to be pretty good.
Yeah, I didn't see what we brought
as the season goes along. So
because it's hard to find news and all that for
it is. It's like, come on,
softball.
people, we've got to, and maybe I'm missing it. Is we've got to get better at.
You have to go to the website. You literally have to go to their website to find out.
Gotcha.
Anything that's going on, because no sports cares. No major sports thing cares.
Gotcha.
Update on the Carolina game. They are losing 20-11.
All right, so moving on
We'll
to
just run into basketball.
Yeah,
All the number ones have lost so far. We are waiting on this game and the Big Ten. for the number ones, I think.
Interesting to see. Well, let's break it down. Sean, pull up the scores from today, because we'll still have hold on.
Well, the ones
Who's tomorrow? Who is tomorrow? Who's the tournament?
Tomorrow is selection tomorrow.
Yeah, but usually there's one tournament.
No, everybody's done.
Did everybody finish this?
Everybody's going to finish today. They should.
No, see, right there's the semifinals for the Big Ten. I know the Big Ten plays tomorrow, and
the Ivy League, Brown versus Yale.
And SEC is the other one, yes. So we got Florida and Auburn.
Duquesne.
Duquesne and VCU, yes.
Yeah, Florida, Auburn. There's no Kentucky. There's no Tennessee.
Brown, actually, in the Ivy League, Brown beat Princeton today, which was a huge upset. They actually have a losing record coming into that. And then you have the Big Ten tomorrow, too. So all those teams, they're playing now. Generally,
Look at the AAC, too. Temple versus UAB.
What a run by Temple. I mean, Tulsa beat Temple. I mean, look at Temple's record. They're 16-19, only won 5 games.
Tulsa lost early to ECU. Both men's and women's went out early. OU men and OU women both went out.
Yes,
fairly
right
early.
off the bat. Yeah, OU won. OU women won one, and then
Oklahoma State never had a chance.
We'll talk about as we finish up these scores about my OSU getting fired. All right, let's talk a little bit about bracketology. Like Sean said, we've
really want that guy gone.
We got championships tonight. NC State and NC,
so they didn't have to wait
one more year. So
round robin the scores.
Now, Sean, if you'll go back to that game, I think NC State coming in as a 10 seed for that tournament, hanging on. They've won 4. I think they've won 4 in a row.
Beat VC or Virginia.
Yeah, they've won 4 in a row and beat Virginia. Watch that game last night. Hell of a last-second shot. Virginia has the ball. It was a foul. They fouled him, so it was a 1-and-1. Kid hits the front. They got like 5 seconds left, runs it down. Guy, I can't remember his name, shoots a 3 over the guy's head, kind of banks it in, kind of rattles in a little bit, and chaos. And then they took care of Virginia in overtime, puts them up to the game against North Carolina today. North Carolina being the
number 1 seed, but
ranked number 4. Ranked number 4.
Ranked number 4, but they're the number 1 seed in the ACC. And then Purdue losing to Wisconsin earlier today. Wisconsin
overtime.
Purdue threw up a Hail Mary for no reason at all.
Yeah, they had some time left. That was bad.
Yeah.
It's every year we pick Purdue, and everybody talks about Purdue. Purdue is always, when it comes to crunch time, that team falls. Now, I have them every year. It seems like Elite 8, Final 4, sometimes winning the national championship. I cannot do it this year. It's every year that team for some reason just continues to
fail?
To screw that up. Yes, to screw that up. But anyway, we're talking about Selection Sunday is tomorrow. We're talking about I pulled up Joe Lenardi. I generally like him over Jerry Palm. Wanted to talk about last 4 in. Oklahoma's on his last 4 in list. Now,
I can see that.
Yeah, finished one. They only lost one game in non-conference, but then just petered out, won 7 games in the Big 12, and has petered at the end. I mean, really won that overtime game against Cincinnati, and then the other 3 they lost and have looked bad doing it. Obviously, injuries have hurt us. Now, hopefully, OU doesn't get into some sort of play-in game to be in there. That concerns me a little bit. I more think they're probably going to be about a 10 seed.
Well, the last I saw, they were projected at a 10.
That's correct. Now, if they get in 11, then you're looking at a play-in game. Joe Lombardi's got them playing Virginia. He's also got St. John's in New Mexico, which would be interesting because that would be father and son, Patinos, playing each other in a play-in game. Yes.
Papa, I'm going to win.
Now, St. John's had a fairly good run into the tournament. And they lost today. Who'd they lose to? Connecticut. They lost to Connecticut in the Big East tournament, which Connecticut is probably, I know they're 1 seed. They're probably 2nd or 3rd seed, I would think, overall.
I was trying to remember where I saw this. Nebraska made it to the title game for the first time ever.
Yeah, that was women. And Nebraska women is going to be really good this year. But I thought Nebraska men making it to the semifinal tonight, obviously they lost.
Lost to Illinois.
But I thought that's a good run for former Iowa State coach. Can't think of his name. I drew a blank.
Bruce Springsteen.
No, that's not it. But anyway, that's
it.
probably what you
That's
would
gonna
say.
be-
But anyway,
yeah.
good win for them. Let's talk about the Big 12 then while we're talking about OU being a last in. Now, we'll move to Big 12 but real quick.
The
First,
Big 12 is projected to have
hold on.
9 teams, I think.
Four first out would be Seton Hall, Indiana State, Pittsburgh, and Providence. I think Pittsburgh should probably get in. Also, former OU coach coaching there. That would be Jeff Capel.
Oh, God.
And then the next 4 out is Kansas State, Wake Forest, Oregon, and NC State. Kansas State shouldn't be in there because of their non-conference wasn't near as good as OU's, even though their Big 12 record was somewhat similar. So, and then the last 4 byes, which would not a play-in game, would be Colorado State, A&M, TCU, and Michigan State. Of course, Michigan State's going to get that love just
Get
because of
that
that. But
love.
yes, the Big 12 is projected to have 9 in. That would include the play-in game. SEC would be 8, Big 10, Mountain West 6, Big East, ACC, Pac-12. And then you got the American, the West Coast Conference, which I assume they're going to be talking about St. Mary's and Gonzaga, and then the Atlantic 10 also getting 2 in. So, anyway, can't wait for tomorrow. It's going to be a big day. It's going to be some bit of pins and needles for OU fans tomorrow as far as the basketball program.
Both programs. Well, no, the women are in.
The women are in
Women
for
are in.
sure. Women are probably going to get about a 3 to 4 seed, I
Did
would
you
think.
see the SEC women's title game?
The brawl?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Well, the one girl's brother coming out, he's arrested.
As he should be.
Why? I don't know why. It wasn't like anything.
By that time, the fisticuffs were done.
Right.
Yeah.
Everything was finished, and he just jumps the table there and just runs out. But LSU's coach was just, I'm not a fan of her. I'm not a fan of her style. She dresses like she's on the Golden Girls.
Now, hold on. Now, if she coached your team, you'd be a fan because she wins.
No. I can hate my coach.
Other than that,
Trust me, I can hate my coach.
She is ridiculous.
I didn't like when we hired Capel.
I wasn't a big
OU.
fan of him either.
Okay, so I didn't like him when they hired him. So don't tell me that if she's your team's coach.
He'd always win recruiting wars and then never pan out.
Well, and it was funny. What was funny was that assistant coach was the better coach for VCU.
Oh yeah.
Because he ended up taking the team back to the and repeatedly back to the dance. But when she said, you're lucky Angel Reese wasn't out there, and I'm like,
bigger.
I don't. Can we stop like insinuating fights and say, hey, it was wrong on both sides? There shouldn't be any fighting. It's.
Well, why don't you just? Well, I mean, she just has
not
to make,
hockey.
She has to make sure she's got Angel Reese mentioned. I don't even know why it was even out there.
So it was something that just confused me, and I'm just every day I just don't like her face. Face is getting. But for the women, Iowa's going to come in as the heavy favorite to repeat, and I know Caitlin Clark.
South Carolina.
Caitlin Clark's got
South Carolina's
titles.
going to. South Carolina.
Well, I know South Carolina is too, but Iowa's looking to avenge their loss from last season. So they're going to be playing hard.
I think they lost in the championship, right?
Yeah,
Correct?
yeah, they lost to LSU.
Yeah.
That's where we got Bayou Barbie from.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my ladies basketball. Men's basketball, we're done. We're good. You have any more?
Yeah, I
NBA
worry
don't have
about
anything.
OU and their seeding. I'd like them not to be a play-in team, obviously, because that's just an extra game. They're gonna have to play somebody pretty good.
I say they probably fall down.
And are they healthy? And are they healthy?
I don't know what's going on with the team.
Yeah.
I honestly don't. But yeah, I can see them. They might fall to a 12. But right now they're projected as a 10 because of their non-conference wins and the conference they played in.
Well, Jerry Palm's got him at 10. Narni's got him at 11 being a play-in. So 10
but that's
would
what
be
I'm saying. It's
great.
10 to 11.
Yeah, 10. But yeah, that's about what it was. So essentially, before we get into football, because as far as NFL, because that's what we're going to close on. We've got how long are we in? We're in 14 minutes in. We could talk for an hour and a half on NFL.
That's why I said let's get all this out of the way.
I want to bring up one more thing.
Baseball season starting soon. Blah blah blah.
I want to bring up one more thing. If you didn't pay attention, that OU football Coaches got some.
Lost
no.
we lost Nix.
Yeah, he was. But
he
he wanted to be a two-sport guy. Still might come back, but I don't know. He wanted to play basketball also.
I don't know why wouldn't.
I think there was some issues with Porter Moser. Remember, there was a lot of rumors of him going to DePaul.
Oh,
Chris Holtman got that job, which I thought for DePaul was a great hire because I thought Ohio State. Chris Holtman's a really good coach.
Right, and then Long Beach State fires their head coach after 17 seasons, right before they're going to the championship game.
What about?
He's not coaching it.
I know
He's
I got
done.
off the subject of OU football. I'll finish that, but hold on. No, I want to think about the biggest job openings, Michigan. I mean,
for
basketball, yes. They finally fired.
Oh, they got rid of.
They got fired Juwan Howard. Yes,
Good.
yes.
Good.
And
that man was a menace.
Well, I mean, how many times have we seen former players come in and they just can't coach? Some of them just can't do it. Magic Johnson was one.
It's crazy that.
I mean, I'm missing.
Well, Larry Bird did.
He was a really good one. He really was good. You know the good thing about Larry though is
I watched.
Hold on, they give him a lot of availability as far as getting to pick the players too. It's kind of an older school deal.
So do you know whenever that television series came out about Magic Johnson and all them, and you know the rise of the Lakers?
Okay.
So a lot of stories started coming out at that time about Larry Bird and how he was. I didn't realize this man was that vicious. I didn't realize that I always saw Larry Bird as just a guy that loved to play basketball.
Humble, just guy like
go. Yeah. No, that man was.
He was an animal.
Drinker. I mean, he could party.
Allegedly.
No, they pictures. He's got the old Milwaukee Light cans. Yeah, he was a partier, and I didn't realize that he was a beast, that big of a beast on the basketball court too. Just angry. People didn't like going against him, and he would make people pay for fouling him. So that's it.
Michigan possible candidates. This according to CBS Sports. Mitch Henderson. He's an alma mater guy, so that could be why. Jamie Dixon from TCU. That's an odd.
That would be a pickup.
Choice. TCU guy. I think he's going to stay. I love Anthony Grant from Dayton. I've always thought that guy. He was assistant with Billy Donovan at Florida. I think he was the Alabama coach for a while. They got rid of him pretty quick into that. He was 107. He was 117 and 85 at Alabama, so it's not like that was weird. A bad record. And speaking of Alabama, Nate Oates signed a big contract extension for Alabama today.
Oh, I'm surprised they wouldn't.
DeVries from Drake, obviously mid-major program, has done really well. Brian Dutcher from San Diego State, not done as well.
Where was Dutcher?
I mean, I can't believe he's been there that long, and he's hell. He was the one that had the Final Four last year. And struggled a little bit this year, but overall record 174 and 56. He's also a.
College basketball is crazy.
He was with Steve Fisher when Steve Fisher went out.
College basketball is crazy anyway because you don't keep those guys for more than a year.
Even
if you can get them to come.
Dusty Mason. But see, wouldn't Juwan Howard, and let me segue into that OSU coach. So we talked about, the hot name right now, and before we get to OU salaries, since I got.
We were on football, but
no, I'm going to go back and then finish up with football. Because I forgot about OSU. I mean, locally, Oklahoma State fired their coach.
Yeah, nobody forgets about him.
But
I just don't ever think about him.
So it's the name that's being mentioned right now. Obviously, is
I know they have the first 5-time wrestling champion.
What?
They're the first 5-time Big 12 wrestling champion.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Doug Gottlieb, obviously.
Oh yeah, Doug Gottlieb
is the one being mentioned right now.
That guy.
Well, so let me ask you that. So
I didn't fight that guy in college.
No, so
never got a chance.
So what do you think about him being the coach?
I don't care. I really don't care. I don't like Doug Gottlieb. I never liked Doug Gottlieb as a player. I didn't like Doug Gottlieb as a commentator. So I just don't like Doug Gottlieb. It's fine.
Okay, so what would you think about him being the coach?
I wouldn't care.
So
to be honest, I don't care. Let him come in.
I think they should.
Let him come in and do what he's going to do, and he's going to try to run it like Eddie Money. And
so
it's not going to work out the way that he thinks.
Okay, so I thought
basketball has changed from the time that he played to now.
Totally agree, but he's never been a coach, so I kind of.
But that's what I'm saying. But all that's changed.
They don't need a coach. I mean, do they need coaches? I mean, can't you just have your assistants? I mean, coach. I mean, I like the Doug Gottlieb deal simply for one thing.
I love Woody Harrelson.
OSU is a hard place to coach at, obviously.
Yeah, because of Eddie.
Because that's and
everybody's had to live up to the legacy of Eddie Sutton
and Eddie before. So what? So Eddie was a kind of
Iba.
He had some issues before he took over. Obviously at Kentucky, so they brought him in and they took a chance on him. But generally, the people that have done well at OSU, Iba, Eddie, have been OSU guys. Mm-hmm. So it kind of makes sense that he would bring him in, even though he doesn't have any coaching experience. But he's building a program. He's going to bring people in. Interesting stat, though. Oklahoma State basketball player of the year is the Montanati kid from OSU, which used to play
OSU player of the year is OSU.
No, I said the Oklahoma State. I meant not Oklahoma State. Oklahoma, as in the state player of the year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Oklahoma. The state of Oklahoma.
The state of Oklahoma
there we go.
player
Yes,
of the year.
Yes. Was the Montanati kid. If you remember Brian Montanati, I think Brian's his first name. Was it Brian that played with Doug at OSU back in the day? So that connection is there. Owasso won their first male basketball state championship this year with that kid leading them. So anyway, there's some connection there. Could get him. He's uncommitted as of right now, but I mean, you see how that plays. But the firing of Juwan Howard hurts Doug Gottlieb's chances, I think, because Juwan Howard never really coached much. Got the job because of his name.
Oh, you're talking about player coach come in.
You think build the program, bring him in?
But who's Memphis' coach? Now, he did some
Anthony Hardaway. Yeah,
Penny. Hardaway did some coaching in the AAU.
Yes, he did.
Before he came over. So
Agreed. But I think it hurts Doug not really having that coaching experience because you look at Juwan Howard.
That's Doug Gottlieb's fault.
They took a picture of the senior night at Michigan, and
was there 5 people?
I bet there was less than 1,000 people. It was bad, and I meant a lot of them people were up in the stands. Well, so it looked horrible.
They turned on him pretty quickly.
Anyway, Dusty May seems to be the favorite Florida Atlantic coach. Took their team to the Final Four last year. He probably is going to get the Michigan job. Maybe I don't think somebody like that's going to get the OSU job of that caliber. Ironically, Travis Ford, who got fired from OSU, got fired this year from St. Louis. He's been there the whole time since then. Boynton has been there. So anyway, all right, let's move on real quick. I want to talk about OU football salaries that got announced this year. Announced this last month. Salary increases.
Oh, okay.
Seth Luttrell, $1.1 million. Joe John Finley got bumped. Obviously, he's co-offensive coordinator, $900,000. New defensive coordinator Zach Alley's going to start out at $850,000. Jay Valai, $750,000.
If we do well in the SEC, he's going to get bumped.
Correct. Now, here's where you see the 2 big ones that I noticed that moved was obviously Bates moved to $800,000, which he should, yeah. And Bill Beedbo cracked that he cracked the $1 million mark when it comes to that. So congratulations, OU coaches got raises. $7.83 million is the assistant pool for Oklahoma. Where do you think that ranks in the Big 12? I'm sorry, SEC. My bad.
Probably number 5.
A little lower. They were ranked number 7. But not bad. I mean, that wasn't bad. I thought that wasn't bad.
I mean, come on. But you've also got rumors of Texas A&M wanting to leave for the Big Ten. And those rumors keep growing day by day.
They're scared because they have to play Texas.
Yeah. They just don't want to be with Texas. And I've seen people come – I spit everywhere. I've seen people come out with –
I don't think there's no legitimate – I think there's zero legitimate.
Hold on. I've seen people come out with you're just making the NCAA look like the NFL and breaking it into quadrants, and they keep taking Texas A&M and sticking them with Texas no matter what.
Oh, of course. Well, yeah, they're going to.
They want to keep that. They want that rivalry to happen again.
Yes.
And A&M, I don't understand what's up with their regions. They got Elko, so they've got a better chance of winning now. They have the money. They just can't get over the hump. And then they keep running from Texas. Why? Why keep running from Texas? I don't understand it. But also, OU is in the running for 2 4-star wide receivers.
Yeah, they are looking good for 25 right now.
Well, I mean, we lost the next kid, but he had issues.
Not lost per se. I really think that there's been some rumor that the Porter Mosier drama had kind of worried him, but I
don't
don't
think
think
Mosier's going now.
He's not, and I don't think anybody's worried about this kid because he's a wide receiver in a loaded wide receiver class. So
right.
I'm not concerned about that, but love to have him because he's got quite the skills. And I actually, to be honest, I think he'd be a better basketball player.
Yeah, and that would be
that's
fun.
what they need. Yeah.
And with him coming in playing football and basketball, he would actually stay on that team longer.
Correct.
I mean, even if he left after the third year to go play basketball, we'd still have him for 3 years because he'd be deciding what he wants to do. Look at Kyler Murray. Kyler stayed. Kyler could have gone to the Oakland A's.
Correct.
And he ended up coming back and making more money in the NFL. Because he was making more. He had made more money coming back than Snaky Riley. So, what else we got?
That's it. Let's move to the big.
Going?
The big talk.
All right. Are we going to do the free agency first, or are we going to just go ahead and
let's talk about the free agency because we're going to have a little bit of repeats. When we talk about
I
didn't
take any notes because of how crazy the first day of free agency was.
Oh my! Oh my! Oh my! It's been the best, and it's been fast. Generally they stretch this shit out for a while.
So you watched literally the running back market go crazy.
For a minute.
At one point, Josh Jacobs and Aaron Jones were on the same team, and they were trying to reconstruct Aaron Jones's contract, and he was willing to do it, and they're like, oh, bye. You're done.
Do you really think that was the truth, though? I thought that's bullshit.
No, I really think he was trying to restructure.
I don't. I just don't. I just don't.
And then you got, Eckler?
Well, let's talk about the big. You talk about running backs, right?
That's what we're
start with the running back. Okay.
So Austin Eckler ends up. He goes from the Chargers to the Commanders, right?
That's correct.
The Bears pick up
Swift. Love that.
Swift.
Loved it because
Jacobs leaves the Raiders and goes to
for 4 years, $48 million, which I thought's a little high for Jacobs myself.
But he still goes to the Packers.
Yes.
Devin Singletary leaves and ends up in.
I didn't even have him on my list.
Well, he leaves and he goes to the Giants, and then of course Saquon Barkley leaves and goes to.
I was just talking about the big time. I did not.
Well, this is what happened. This was what happened.
Not good at all.
But
Eckler was 2 years, $11 million.
Saquon Barkley leaves and goes to.
No, listen to that. 2 years, $11 million.
Okay.
Now go back to what the Giants left, and they let Barkley
go to the Eagles.
That's correct, and that was a 3-year, $37 million. 2 years, 11, 3-year, 37. I'm not so sold that the Commanders didn't get the better deal. I know Eckler's been hurt, but so has Barkley.
Yeah,
Barkley did play well.
All these running backs have
Barkley's had the worst.
I think Swift is the only one that really has not had
3 years, $24
and Singletary have not really had the
dude. I don't even put Singletary.
Aaron Jones is now with the Vikings.
I don't even put, and I thought that was a great pickup too.
But you know who really got left out of that? Dallas Cowboys.
Well, speaking of Dallas Cowboys, Tony Pollard went to the Titans.
Well, they just cut. Yeah. They cut. Yeah, Tony Pollard left
3 years,
to the Titans.
$24 million.
Derrick Henry goes to the Ravens, and they just cut Gallup and Van Der Esch.
Van Der Esch is going to be a retirement.
You're looking at teams that are just dismantling. I know that the Chargers restructure Bosa and Mack.
Are we moving into that yet? Because you're moving in out of position now. Are we done talking about running backs?
Well, I'm just saying the whole dismantling of a team. But there was no real running back. Zach Moss left to go
to the Bengals because
to Cincy.
They sent Mixon to the Texans.
Yeah, Joe Mixon.
Which I thought.
Well, I thought they cut him, and then they were going to cut him.
They traded him.
They were going to cut him, and then they ended up trading him.
And I thought, man, we'll talk about it as we go, probably next week or two, about who won free agency on paper. Obviously,
out of what Mixon's is it 7 years? He's had 4,000-yard seasons, and he had a 1,000-yard season last season.
But I think like I've told you before, I think you're starting to look at the Bengals window disappearing.
Oh, there's a lot of teams.
well,
There's
the
a lot of
Chargers'
teams' windows
window
that
is
are
done. We'll
disappearing.
talk about that in a little bit. Not just because
The
Eckler-
Dolphins, one of
Eckler
the
left.
teams we're talking about, they dismantled their whole defense.
Yeah, and then they brought some
They're trying to get
fillers back in.
They're trying to get a wide receiver right now.
Tony,
who is it?
Derrick Henry, 2 years, $16 million. You talk about the $8 million running backs. Probably the best deal, even though I like Swift long term. I like the short term for the Ravens.
Henry hasn't had much injury.
He hasn't. No, he really hasn't. And so and they've ranked him and the problem is he's kind of ranked low. I mean, they've got Josh Jacobs, which, hey, don't get me wrong, Oklahoma's own Josh Jacobs is a hell of a running back. But I kind of wonder, and they're looking like they're getting Dillon back. The Packers also pending a physical. The backup,
AJ Dillon.
Is that his first name? I can't remember.
It's just AJ Dillon.
Yeah. And but as far as the running
Corey
back,
Dillon.
as far as the running backs,
Corey Dillon or AJ Dillon.
as far as the running backs, Saquon has the
remember.
top. And not that I'm saying that's bad. I mean, the Eagles have signed. I mean, the Eagles have got some players, but now you've got the Eagles looking at. Let's just talk about the Eagles real quick, because and we can migrate to talk about quarterbacks. Because,
They let go of Baird. Baird ended up on the Bears.
Well, no, just the Eagles. You think about them. The problem
offense.
last year was some defensive problems though
Yeah.
too. But now you've got Barkley coming in. Everyone's like, great. But you've got Jason Kelsey. He's off the line. The line's still getting
You
older.
lost Kelsey and you lost Fletcher Cox.
and getting older. And so you look at that. Did they get any better? Yeah, Barkley, obviously, if he stays healthy, is going to be better. I mean, they're obviously improving from what Dallas has done.
Well, they just moved
nothing.
sideways on the run game. They didn't
No,
get
I
better
think
or worse.
no, I
They just
think
moved
Barkley's
sideways.
better than Swift. There's no doubt about that.
well,
He is healthy though. That's the one thing that concerns me. But then you turn around and I know that. But look at their quarterback. So they brought Kenny Pickett in, and traded Kenny Pickett. So they got for Kenny Pickett, they got a 3rd round and 2 7th-round picks for Kenny Pickett. The Steelers did. They got the 2024 3rd round and then and 2 7th-round
Right.
picks. And then I think Seattle or
Yeah, the moving of Kenny Pickett, I was very confused by that. I was like, well, are you going to let
well, because they had already got Russell. I mean,
But are you going to let Russ, because they lost Mason Rudolph. Mason Rudolph left to go to
Titans.
Tennessee.
yes, correct.
So it's okay. So you bring Russ in. You want Russ to teach Pickett, which would have been what you would have wanted.
You would think.
You would think, but apparently that was not in the cards.
Oh, but then it gets
So now-
sideways. That what now? Breaking news just while before we started.
Yeah, Justin Fields is now gone to the Steelers for nothing.
Okay, so the Steelers get more for Pickett than they did for Fields. All they give up for Fields is a 5th-round pick and a 4th round if he plays 51%.
Right.
Well, why in the fuck would Ryan Poles think that that's going to happen when only because of injury? That Russell Wilson is already brought in.
They have the sign over there.
No, but that Ryan.
I don't know if you read the sign.
Oh, I haven't. Okay. That Russell's not going to play more than Fields. Obviously, that's how that's going to be set up. Now, is Fields a long term? He's going to have to re-sign after his rookie contract.
Well, they've only got
and it was
Russell.
$4.5 million. Hold on now.
Russell's great because you got him on the cheap.
No, and so I know.
Because Denver's still paying the 38. You're only
Yes.
paying him like 1.5 million.
$1.2 million.
Fuck, two.
4.5 million for both quarterbacks.
Right.
Is all that the Steelers have. I'm not downing the Steelers moving this at
No,
all. I think
not
the
at all.
Steelers have had one of the best free. I think getting Queen from the
Ravens.
Ravens was one of the best pickups. That linebacker, for one, you get him. He's an absolute stud at linebacker, and two, you get him out of your number one, rivalry, the Baltimore Ravens in your own division. So, but 4th round, if he plays 51%, he's not going to unless it's an injury. And then what's the plan later? Or are they just going to try to get somebody else? Or is even Pittsburgh going to try to draft? I don't know what they're going to do. I mean, you went from Kenny Pickett and you went Mitchell Trubisky, Kenny Pickett, and Rudolph. Now you've got Russell Wilson and you've got Fields. And like I said, they only spent $4.5 million and only give up a 5th-round pick to get him, and obviously $1.2 million to get Russell as a free agent after
Trubisky
Denver.
never should have left Buffalo. I don't know why he did.
Well, he's back.
Well, yeah, I know he's
Yeah.
back, but he never should have left. Yeah, and you've got teams that are dismantling. Dallas is pretty much dismantling.
Well, Dallas is not really I mean,
What do you have now? You have a wide receiver 1, and you have a quarterback. And you've got one of the top safeties.
Parsons. You got Parsons.
Well, you still got Parsons.
Linebacker, D end, however you want to play him.
But it's safety. You've still got Bowden.
No, you're thinking of and he.
Yeah,
Diggs.
No,
Diggs is there.
No, the kid that had an interception in every game.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Bears grade D. The Jets. I don't know what the hell's going on with them.
Well, and speaking of Dallas, they signed Tyron Smith. A very incentive-laden contract for him, but they also got Moses. As if you want to talk, I mean, that's one of our AFC
I know it's
East.
one of the AFCs.
They got Solomon Thomas and they got Morgan Moses. So Thomas they kept on defense, and then Morgan Moses they signed for another offensive line. So that was the weakness that they had last year. Besides quarterback, that was the weakness last year. But then you turn around and you talk about
Chicago goes on a rager.
Chargers also the one dismantling right now.
Yeah, Chargers are dismantling. Well, Dolphins are dismantling their entire D.
We'll talk about them on the East, yeah.
So the Bears get Keenan Allen to go along with DJ Moore.
4th round pick.
For a 4th round pick. And then you get O-line guys. I know that Eberflubus got a couple of the old Colts guys. There was another cat.
Hey, I'm not disagreeing. I think the Bears had one of the best offenses.
They did.
Season. Yes.
They did.
But
they bolstered their D.
But they
bolstered their D getting Bird. They got Simone.
Well,
they got Mr. Simone Biles.
And they re-signed Jalen Johnson. Obviously, they signed Swift. Got a backup. Mark.
Des, do you want to come in?
Mark Rippon. They took
Rippon. That's the backup.
Tight end Everett, and then Shelton. That was the center from, I believe, the Rams. Correct? They signed.
I think so.
Yes. Yeah. Shelton was the Rams. But I think they just blew it on the Fields deal. They waited either too long.
Well, that's because Kirk Cousins became Mr. Moneybag.
Or they didn't wait long enough.
Kirk Cousins is the new Jay Cutler. That's all I know.
He's better than Jay Cutler.
No, he's not.
Yeah, he is.
How many postseason wins do they both have?
I don't one.
One.
But the thing, I thought the Vikings.
He can throw. I mean, Jay Cutler can throw.
I thought the Vikings won that. Obviously, Daxton, my son, is a huge Vikings fan. He was pretty depressed that he left. But I told him, I said, spin it in a different realm. Now you don't have to spend all that money on Kirk. You can get other pieces to that team. Now, here's my concern. Minnesota's already started to get that one trade. Notice they traded with Houston they give up a second for last year, but they moved another one into the first round.
They just traded picks.
They did,
just traded picks.
But they moved into the first round twice now. My concern is they're going to get greedy and try to go move up and get a quarterback. If they're smart, they'll wait right there because I think they're going to get a quarterback, whether it be Nix or Penix, the fall. I think one of those two quarterbacks are going to fall enough.
JJ McCarthy.
No,
but
he's going to go high. Everyone's in love with him.
I'm thinking he's a late 3rd rounder.
But hey, let's go back to the Chargers for a little bit. Looking at, they've made a lot of moves. Obviously, they restructured. We started talking about Mack, Bosa. Remember we talked about last week or 2 weeks ago how the top 5 of those
2 weeks
those teammates had like the top 7 of cap suckers.
Mike Williams was cut.
Yeah, so they've cut Williams. They got rid of
Keenan Allen went to the Bears,
and then they restructured Mack and Bosa, so they've got some room. So let me ask you this: is it possible? Could you see a possible trade of Herbert?
Yeah.
I mean, they're picking at what right now? They're picking at 5. What if you traded?
They're picking at number 5.
What if you traded Washington or the Patriots and give them Herbert and then take that? So now you're at 2.
Kraft would love that.
Now
Robert
now
Kraft
hold on.
Would love,
now let's say you're 2-3 and then you're at 5.
Seasoned quarterback.
And the other trade is they don't get that 1st round pick. That stays with you. They don't get any picks, and you want next year's 1st round pick from them. Would you do it?
What, for Herbert?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you do it for if you're San Francisco or San Diego? Just say Harbaugh's coming in. It's going to be a run-heavy offense. Going to focus on the D. So, what couldn't that be?
I'm confused by what's going on with what Harbaugh's going to bring in and who Harbaugh's going to bring in. we all know that, yes, he's going to be stout on D. He's going to try to get younger linebackers. So their first pick is probably going to be defense.
Yeah, or you're going to look at
running back.
Or no, they won't do running back. Brock Bowers has been listed, but then he starts to move down. So you're looking at maybe Curse from Florida State, defensive tackle, somebody like that might. But J.J. McCartney's love is you can see that for Harbaugh.
J.J. McCartney's love rose.
How much farther do you have to drop? Because now you're looking at what's the Bears do at number 9? Couldn't they get a trade up or something to that nature? You know what I mean? Then you're looking at them being able to.
Stay out of the basement.
It's probably Zach. So then you can look at them being that person that at number 9 could the Bears, maybe they could trade down if you're looking at somebody wanting to move up for a quarterback.
Yeah, because I don't know, because we had them projected at least a wide receiver and an offensive guy.
Well, now the Bears don't need the wide receiver.
They don't need. Yeah. Well, I would still kind of take one.
Maybe later, but they're not now. They're taking Williams, obviously. And then what do they do at 9? Now they're going to take defense, or they're going to take maybe offensive line.
Yeah,
again.
That's what they were projected.
But that was my point. Trade down. You can get offensive line a little bit later. Maybe you start to see some of those teams that
I
are
don't
desperate.
know. Can you get that mulleted white boy?
Hey, but Herbert being traded is not out of the realm. To be honest,
at this point, nothing's out of the realm for any team.
Well, I think one thing is
Gardner Minshew.
One thing we know.
Gardner Minshew leaves. He's now the guy
at the Raiders
in Oakland.
Yeah,
well, not
yeah.
Oakland.
Yeah.
Las Vegas.
Las Vegas. Yes.
He's the man there now.
Well, and seeing where do they pick Sean? They're probably 15 to 17.
I don't know if they even have.
13. Okay, a little higher than I thought. So see, they're going to be in play. Maybe a Penix comes in there. I mean, the draft is going to be nuts this year. It's going to be one of the best.
Like I said, the movements that happened were just so chaotic in the first day. And then I kept seeing stuff yesterday this morning, and I was like, why are all these highlights of Aaron Donald coming out?
Retirement.
And he ended up retiring. So, like we said for the Rams, they need D. Well, now you really need D.
I think another team that did well as far as quarterback play is no one is really talking about Joe Flacco going to the Colts.
Oh, yeah, Joe Flacco's with the Colts now.
Yes. And why
they love old quarterbacks?
But you've got a backup plan to Richardson, who looks like the shit. To be honest,
he
probably
looked better than we thought. Looked better than we believed.
And potentially,
as
he was going, he could have potentially challenged Stroud for the Rookie of the Year on the offensive side. Not saying he would have, because Stroud's been a hell of a guy or a hell of a season. But I thought that was a good pickup by them. So. Left over now, you got free agents still left available.
Trent Brown being out there is still
probably will re-sign with New England, more than likely, is what it sounds like. Mike Williams obviously has a big salary cap. What's he going to do? I thought
Chase
Dallas
Young
might look at him, honestly, Williams, and Chase and Xavier Howard.
49ers just seem to be replacing pieces. They're like, okay, let this guy, we'll get this guy. Like they're moving parallel. They're moving sideways.
As they should, because
they're
loaded
okay,
already.
This guy out.
Speaking of getting better, was the Chiefs getting Hollywood Brown? I thought was a great pick.
Yeah, Marquise Brown going to.
You got Chiefs. You got a speedster now.
All of a sudden, you've got a really good wide receiver there.
Yep.
Because didn't they let Scantling go?
Yes. And Tony
which they needed.
Tony's obviously
and guess what? They could pick up Mike Williams.
I don't know what he's going to do, and I didn't really. I mean, I haven't been so impressed with him.
He's been injured too much recently.
Yes,
His retirement. OBJ still. Guess who's back on the market? Odell Beckham Jr., the godsend of receivers. Oh wow, he's gonna sign late season? Too much money. Get cut again. He's gonna wait till the. Find a contender.
Yeah, Eagles probably. I could see.
He's gonna pull that.
Has he played at the 49ers yet? Before?
No.
Okay, that could be a possibility.
No. He's been Giants, Browns, Rams, and Ravens this year.
On a local front and a personal front for me, Tampa has knocked it out of the park in our free agency. Also signed a lot of.
I was happy Baker re-signed.
3 years. I want to talk about this. 3 years, $100 million, and everyone thinks that and goes, "Holy shit! Look at that contract." You know, Carr and Jones will make $40 million next year. That's what they're scheduled to make. Now, Baker's obviously contract is a little bit front loaded, so after 3 years, after that second year, the third year's a lot of dead money. They can cut him, so he's got 2 years to prove himself to do something else. And then you got Mike Evans signing first ballot Hall of Fame. Mike Evans, wide receiver,
last ballot,
got his guaranteed money. I think he got
he front end loaded. We talked about that
2 years,
last week.
$52 million, and he got $30 million guaranteed.
He got a front end loaded.
So
that one hit early.
Now what they need to do for Tampa, and then they brought Whitehead back, and then they've signed most of their. They need to still work on their offensive line, and then they've got some depth in secondary. I thought Tampa has been Tampa, Pittsburgh. Those two teams stood, and the Bears. Those three teams stood out to me.
Washington stood out,
and
for
Washington.
me.
Washington and the Eagles got better though. I don't think they did something so great, but they got better within their conference to make the playoffs.
Right, Washington did. Well, I right now Washington's above Dallas.
What do you think? So the quarterback right now,
and
yes.
the only thing that
well, I mean, who's their quarterback? They drafted a quarterback. Daniels.
Well,
Hal
got sent to
Seattle. So they're going to have to draft a quarterback there.
Yeah.
So you obviously the number 1 and number 2 picks are setting up for obvious quarterback picks.
The top 3 is really setting up for.
And then Mac Jones, we didn't talk about getting
right.
sent
Mac Jones is now a backup to
the Jags.
His what did he get? 14 behind him? Is that what he got drafted?
I think he's from there though. They said he's from the Jags.
He's from Jags, but he got drafted 14 places behind. 13, 14 places behind.
Yeah, he was 14 to 17 in the picks.
Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
So,
but I'm not sold on Trevor Lawrence.
Oh God!
And you also and you also know that I joked about the Eagles. Although I say they did well, they now have 2 crappy quarterbacks. 2 that I said that Pickett was never any good. That was your guy. And Hurts did not perform well. Hurts did not perform well last year, and we'll see what he does this year because the team wasn't near as talented.
Hands. I think our hands are bigger than his.
Maybe.
All right, let's get to the AFC East and the needs that are there for so far. In New England, they need everything. Wide receiver. They re-signed Bourne.
Yes, Bourne was a good re-sign. I think he's pretty good actually.
But other than that,
and they kept Henry too. Tight end. I liked him too. He's not bad.
I know.
The contract was on the cheap. It was 3 for $27, I think, is what it was. 3 for $26 or $27. I don't think that was a bad deal. And Bourne was good, but yeah, they're definitely gonna have to draft a quarterback. I think their defense was pretty good, obviously last year. And I don't know, Sean, who did they lose? That I'm thinking that there was, and they did re-sign Brissett to fill him in for 1 year, $8 million as a backup.
I forgot who all they've lost. I saw there was a big. Well, I mean they let Mac Jones go. Ezekiel Elliott is still not re-signed. Even watching the team last season, I know they did better in defense at times, but that defense is still not there. It's not the Super Bowl winning defenses that they had.
Correct.
I mean, they did cut a lot of guys too, but for me, that whole team, you need the whole team.
Yeah. Well, their offense was.
You don't have a run game. You don't. You have wide receivers.
Well, their offense was trash, to be honest. I mean, everything about it was.
Right.
Even the coaching was. I mean, that was the problem. They just didn't care. I mean, Belichick focused on the defense.
And you loved Mac Jones coming into the season.
I thought he'd have a pretty good year just simply because I thought that they'd be undervalued, and I thought he could sneak up and beat some teams. And I think they actually, Sean, were one of the more teams that lost by more games by a small amount.
I was surprised that they didn't try to, get one of the available quarterbacks out there. They didn't try to move on any of those guys.
No, I think they've set up and they're it. I mean, they're drafting no matter what.
I think they're going to be drafting the whole team. Like I said, there's so many holes in that offense and defense.
Now, what could be interesting is they could be trade material for the Herbert possibility. I thought Fields might be in play there, but maybe not. Obviously not now. But could you back down and get another draft pick and then still get a Knicks? Could you see Knicks going there? Seems like it fit that Boston mentality.
Arizona's got 2 in the first round. Chicago's got 2 in the first round.
Yeah, Arizona's is low because I think they got. Was that the Houston one?
I think so. I don't remember.
Yes, they traded up. Remember, Houston traded up with them to get Will Anderson, I believe.
Will Anderson Jr.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's how that went.
Yeah, it's. That's all I can say is New England Patriots need everything.
Well,
I don't.
let's
see...
talk about them Bills, them Buffalo Bills.
Well, Buffalo's dismantling their defense.
But do you think that was
Their defense were cap hits?
They were. They really were. They really were. But then you look. You got Mitch Trubisky, which I joke. That's just funny.
But yeah,
they got a punter.
He did well.
They did re-sign Poyer. You like Poyer.
They got him back.
Yes, they did re-sign him. Daquan Jones they re-signed, and they signed Curtis Samuel from Washington, which I think is a pretty good.
You want to look at their cap hit right now. You want to talk about money. Allen's a $30 million. Diggs is a $27 million.
Yeah, but that's their two best players that they have. So I mean, I don't find them to be, so.
They're just gonna have to fill the holes on defense that they need a receiver. They're gonna need a receiver.
Well, they got Curtis Samuel. Not saying he's bona fide number 2, but he's not bad.
Not bad, but still they're gonna need receiver. So. Run game. God, who do they have on run game?
That was one thing I was thinking about.
That was Diggs, wasn't it?
No.
Oh, no, he's receiver.
Diggs was
Cooks.
a receiver. Yeah.
Did they let him go? I'm not seeing Cooks on here at all.
Well, I was going to see who they picked up. God, they won't let me show who they... It's funny because some of these things won't show. Obviously, Samuel did. Hold on.
Yeah, it's Curtis Samuel. He's at 24 now. They got Gabriel Davis.
Oh yeah, did they re-sign Gabe?
No, he went to
Jacksonville. That's right. Yes.
Leonard Floyd went to San Francisco.
Yes.
Which I wish he was still in the Bears. They re-signed Daquan Jones.
Mitch Morse was interesting because I think that was more of just a money thing. I think because there's a lot of free agent linemen out there right now. Even Tampa's going to need to get some linemen just to have depth. But I don't think they lost. I mean, for what they lost, and I think you'll watch them, they'll draft a lot of defense.
Well, right, but they're going to need a running back. Like I said, I'm not seeing their run game. Their run game was.
It's always been their weakness.
It was amazing. I can't see anyone.
Go down.
I haven't seen him.
No, I don't think Cook was a free agent yet.
They got Ty Johnson, but he was already there.
No, I think it was
Damian Harris.
Back up.
And Latavius Murray.
Back up.
Well, right, but
James Cook. God, I can't
James Cook.
Yes.
It's Dalvin Cook's brother.
Yes, that's correct.
But he was hit, and he was utilized very heavily, and then they would get away from him, and they would lose the game for some reason, or it was just Josh Allen calling his own number.
He had 1,100 yards rushing, so it wasn't. I mean,
I know. I picked him up. I stole him from Tina.
Super bad.
Stole him from Tina. He had great games, and then they would just stop using him, and their offense looked horrible.
I do wish you're right. They need some better depth there, and the market was there. So I don't know. It was tough to. I mean, just looking at all of them, but I don't think that they got any worse because they've got their key pieces. Kind of like we moved to the Jets. Tyron Smith they signed from the Dallas Cowboys. They look good. I mean, they were missing very few pieces. They've got core talent on each position.
They seem to.
They need a quarterback, obviously, to stay healthy.
They seem to replace and bring in and replace. Well, they brought in Tyrod Taylor as a backup. They got Kinlaw from the Niners.
That was a good pickup.
It was a good.
Yeah.
They got Fatu from Arizona, which was good. Like I said, they moved laterally as well. Correct. They just need another wide receiver.
Yeah, because Tampa took two of their guys, Hall and Whitehead. Whitehead had been with Tampa already.
Yeah, Whitehead did.
But that was some depth there, and then, but I don't know. I mean, that front line that they've got.
That's offensive line.
I'm talking about the defensive line.
I mean, the offensive line. They
need secondary help and linebacker help. I mean, they need
they got
Von Miller to play.
Sauce Gardner.
I'm thinking of the Bills. I was going back to the Bills.
Oh no, we're on.
Line's all they need. I promise you, and they need another wide receiver.
Did
they get anybody to help? What's his name? Why can't I think of his name?
Aaron Jones.
No,
Aaron Rodgers?
wide receiver. What was his
Russell
name?
Brand.
No, what is the wide receiver? The
I can't
good
remember.
from Ohio
I know.
State.
I know.
Ohio State.
I can't remember.
God, now you got
Active. Hold on.
brain freeze.
Hold on. Lazard.
No,
Garrett Wilson.
that's it, Garrett Wilson. And seeing the Jets looked at Keenan Allen too.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw the Jets and I think Texans were in on that.
And I do think that it does look like Mike Williams is meeting with the Jets too. They did meet.
I told you he's gonna end up in the East.
Oh, Tyler Boyd, Odell, and Scantling all met with them. They probably need 2 of those guys, to be honest.
Odell.
You know.
All right. Is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
What other teams there? Miami Dolphins.
Oh boy, oh boy.
Oh boy, they need defense, and they need Tyreek Hill.
Now
to
they
calm
did
the fuck down.
they did sign Shaq Barrett from Tampa. That was kind of a fill in as linebacker. But Christian Wilkins losing him was huge.
Who else they lose? They lost.
It was bad. No, they've lost. Wilkins went to Vegas, which Vegas quietly has built. I thought they overspent a little bit for Wilkins, but Vegas's problem. I know we're not talking about Vegas per se, but their problem has been quarterback and interior line. You know, their edges have been great, but the interior line and linebacker. But you know, I think that Wilkins is going to be a big loss. They lost Van Ginkel. I just think they didn't want. I don't think they wanted to spend the money on it. Was the problem?
No, and Tyreek needs to calm down because he heard a big grill and now he's in something else. He's getting out of hand.
Yeah, what happened? Some sort of party or something?
He's getting out of hand. He's starting to cause trouble. All right, what else we got?
And the Smith pickup, the tight end, I thought was good. You know, because I mean, let's be honest, the tight ends for
Brandon Jones went to Denver.
The tight ends for Miami was not that good. So, are you leaving me?
I'm cramping.
Oh, so you're gonna pull a? Oh, I thought you could leave the mic on and you could pull a Pat McAfee and stand up and give me your. Just don't show your chubby arms. But anyway.
Oh, I can't not show my chubby arms.
No, I thought Miami got worse, and the problem is because they're so heavy built on offense that they're going to have that money committed to them. So. Otherwise, we've talked about the Dolphins, we've talked about the Bills, talked about the Patriots, and we've talked about the Jets. You know, last year we talked about how we picked those teams, and most of us picked Bills, Jets, Dolphins, Pats, and then some picked Bills and Dolphins. We kind of swapped that. Honestly, I don't see any changes right now as far as that goes, as far as the total division when you break it down. I still think the Bills is number 1. Dolphins will be right there, number 2. Jets, you have a healthy Aaron Rodgers. They're going to be number 2. And they could overtake Miami. There's no doubt about that because I think they've gotten better, especially on the offensive line. And I still think the Pats are going to wind up in that 4th place. But it depends on the quarterback. I mean, me and Sean have talked about the the quarterback play and what are they going to do? Is Drake May the guy at the 3rd pick in the NFL draft coming up next month? Is that a given, or are they looking at trading? Or like we've talked about, quarterbacks available. Is San Diego's Justin Herbert, is he available? He seems to be the last one that's really not on the market, but it could be a potential because you see what Harbaugh is doing, new coach Harbaugh and new GM for the Chargers. What they're doing is they've dumped a lot of cap space from the offensive side, and they've restructured Mack and Bosa because that's the bread and butter. And if you know Harbaugh long enough and you've seen him, what he done, I mean, they went to the Super Bowl when Harbaugh was there, obviously played his brother and lost. But you turn around, you see it was a run game and a defense, and that's what he did in college. It's what he's going to put into that NFL landscape. So to get rid of the high-dollar agents and Keenan Allen, they did ask him to take a pay cut, but, Keenan Allen's response was, hey, it was my best year I've had in the NFL. No, I'm not going to do that right now. Selfish or not, when you're in the NFL, especially those key positions, you got to take the money when you can get it. And obviously, they traded him to the Bears, which is going to be a great pickup if Caleb Williams has enough time to throw the ball, because we've seen that be an issue.
I mean, why do we even need Caleb Williams?
Well, you do now.
Nobody needs Caleb Williams. I'm standing up now. You got it.
No, I was just talking about.
No, arms do look chubby.
No, when I was talking about the conference, I think it still stays the same, even with the changes. Unless something dramatically gets different, I still think it's going to be Bills, Dolphins, Jets. Jets could overtake the Dolphins simply if Aaron Rodgers stays healthy. Defense was good last year.
Yeah,
they've got a running game, obviously, and the Patriots still. Unless Herbert comes there, I could see them maybe moving. But, if Herbert or somebody like him to that stature, I don't think a Drake May right off the bat is going to be able to bring that up. And, I have my reservations about Drake May, period.
Well, everybody does.
So,
Maybe
he is the best North Carolina quarterback. I don't know.
We've seen what happens to North Carolina quarterbacks that come out. Daniel Jones was he Carolina?
Daniel Jones, Duke.
Duke.
Same state.
Yeah, well, it's what it is.
What do you think about the Kirk Cousins, though? We didn't really talk about Kirk. I mean, he was the biggest free
That
agent.
man knows how to make money, and he knows how to get paid. He's only got one playoff win, and he knows how to get paid. If you look at his contract, I was looking at the things.
He does them short, and they're smart.
Yeah.
Because he's not getting bit on that back end where you don't get no money.
Well, he's got all that Coles cash, so.
So the Vikings turn around and sign Sam Darnold for one year, $10 million. That appears to be their starter, except I talked about earlier. They're
going to get a quarterback.
Don't get desperate is what I say to the Vikings, though. Just like I said about the Bears, and they didn't listen.
Minnesota's got 11.
And then I think they're at 20. Go back down. I think they're at 23, 24.
They have
they have
23. They have the multiple.
Yeah. And don't trade up and get Drake May. Don't trade up and even get Daniels.
Trade up and get Caleb Williams.
No, that's not going to happen either. The Bears are stuck, and now they have called their hand right off the bat, which either they should have done Fields first early or waited Fields draft day.
Draft day. Everybody was thinking they were
or right before
draft day. But Caleb Williams doesn't bring anything. He literally does not.
Here's
bring
what
anything.
Caleb. No, he does bring a few things. I'm going to give you 3 things Caleb Williams brings the Bears.
He can run backwards.
He brings talent. He brings talent. He is a generation.
Are we going to draft another running? Another running quarterback?
He is a generational. He throws better than Fields. I'll give him credit for that accuracy. Now, however,
he runs backwards.
However,
more.
You've seen him do some of those great throws in that running type, kind of like Fields. College, NFL, not so different. I think he is more accurate, though. I think he brings some excitement. It's what the Bears need for some reason. I don't know why. But third, you know what it brings him? It brings Poles another year as this job at the general manager, no doubt.
Does it?
Yeah, it does.
No, it's going to get him fired.
No, it won't. I think, he's got 2 more years after this.
He'll get fired.
No.
He'll get fired
because all you can say is, it was a rookie. Not my problem. And I don't think he drafted Fields. He didn't.
He didn't.
So,
but Caleb Williams doesn't bring anything but red flags.
Sean's negative about Caleb Williams. I'm more positive. I don't think he's the best quarterback in the draft. I don't know why I like Daniels so much, because you watch him and he runs around a lot too. But I like the accuracy, and he doesn't make a lot of mistakes. 40 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. He played against SEC defenses.
Well, you saw Milton throw.
I just don't think that.
You saw Milton throw the longest in the combine.
I don't think the Pac-12 defenses even compare to the SEC defense that they said, and I think that's what. And even the Big 12, even the 1 year. Don't bring up OU's 1 year, because you don't act like the Big 12 had good defense.
You got to remember, college defense and NFL defense are light years apart.
Agreed, totally agreed. That's why I'm saying
those guys are faster. Mm-hmm. You're going to try to get away from an edge who's 340 pounds, but guess what? That guy is quick, and we've seen that numerous times. The quarterback try to get away from an edge who's just right there on him. He's not going to be able to scramble. He's not going to be able to run backwards. Take Penix. Just take Penix. I don't know if I'd take Daniels.
I like his height, 6'4". Got 6'1". I mean, I'm just saying, everyone loves.
Guys.
No, I mean, and I like, and he played well at Arizona State too. I know he was more mobile, but I mean, you look at the touchdowns, interceptions.
Yeah, I didn't say anything about it being a college. He's a good college quarterback, but will that translate?
Something about him I just like. I just think that he's the guy. I just do.
He could be Franklin, because we didn't think Franklin was going to translate.
Who?
From Florida. Indianapolis's quarterback.
Richardson.
Who's Franklin?
Coach at Penn State. So when I was like, I'm missing that guy.
Who's Franklin?
And he's only had a half a year. I mean, and he used his
He
legs
did
a little
get
bit
in-
much
yeah,
too.
That's
That's what got him hurt. But yes.
But one of the best things for young quarterbacks is going to the Colts right now because Steichen.
Well, just here's from NFL.com. One of his overviews, and he says, possesses, this is Daniels, possesses the football intelligence to get himself protected and take care of the football. Accurate passer over the first two levels. His weakness, though, is the deep throws on the faster receivers. Now, that's going to take a little time, though. He lacks ideal arm size. He lacks ideal size and arm talent, but he's more capable as a runner and a passer than most quarterbacks. And I'm not saying I want him to run.
We didn't say anything about our favorite cornerback being on the market.
He'll be announced somewhere else, and it better not be Tampa. But but so when I look at him, then I like that about him because simply the turnover. Now let's talk about. Let's see. Hold on. I was going to try to find Caleb Williams with that. I mean, that guy's accurate. That's what, and he's going to be mobile. He tends to avoid being contact, and we're gonna have to switch it up a little bit. He's mobile in college to run around and try to run. Now
He's not gonna have that.
No, I know, but now it's gonna be. And Fields did the same thing, so it's gonna be interesting. But you know, the bad thing about it is Caleb Williams is going to a better team than Fields is ever gonna have. That's the problem that I see.
Well, I mean, he's gonna have Najee. I don't know if they're really gonna have a receiver because you remember Steelers get rid of Deontay Johnson.
No. I'm saying Caleb Williams is coming into a better team than Justin Fields did.
Right, but also at this point, Fields.
I don't like the wide receiver core at.
Fields went to Pittsburgh, and you've got Pickens.
But Fields not going to play, so it don't matter.
You've got George Pickens.
Yeah. Deontay Johnson was traded. Yes.
Deontay Johnson was traded for. That was so funny. It was.
For another Deontay Johnson, wasn't there?
It was Deontay. It was like
close. Yeah.
Dion Johnson.
It was like 2 days.
It was weird. I was like, you traded for the same guy, and they had to reread the name. Are you looking at your son's not coming?
Yeah, that's fine. Which is fine. All right, I'm ready. Like I said, we'll finish up some polling
free agency.
Right now I like I said I like Dallas. Not Dallas. I can't. Dallas was horrible. I like the Bears. I'm
liking Chicago.
I like the Vikings simply because they didn't overpay.
I'm liking the Bears to move possibly into the number 2 position. I think Minnesota's going to move to the bottom. I don't think they.
I think Minnesota's probably going to be in a rebuild year this year.
Yeah, I don't think that they did the proper moves. You're 2 years removed from the.
Do you think the
playoffs.
Bears could overtake? See, I would take Love over Caleb Williams, and that's why I'm still going to leave the Packers at 2.
But it's going to be a crapshoot between the Packers and the Bears this year.
Kind of like the Jets and Dolphins.
Right. Well, especially if Aaron Rodgers stays healthy.
Yes. Well,
Aaron Rodgers is lobbying to get a lot of those old. I was surprised Aaron Jones didn't go to the Jets because Aaron.
I thought that
Aaron
was
Rodgers,
huge pickups for the Vikings. It
was.
Makes me wonder him going there. I don't think that was the most money he could get. Maybe he knows something. I don't know. I thought that going to play under Sam Darnold. Of course, you have Sam Darnold. I mean, you're going to get a lot of the carries. So 1 year.
You've got Aaron Rodgers trying
contract.
to pick up a lot of the old Packers that are getting released.
Well, yeah, I mean,
he's trying to bring them over to that team.
Yeah, gonna do that. I mean, it is what it is. All right. Well, thank you all for joining us. I did want to include one thing real quick as we talk about. Want to talk about OU players. Winchester did re-sign with the Chiefs. Hollywood Brown now with the Chiefs. Mixon, we talked about to Houston.
With the Chiefs.
Yeah, he still is.
A lot of you guys on that team now.
Yes. And then you have who signed with the Titans for 2 years? Sean, I can't even read my writing. It looks like Kenny Mossy. But anyway,
Murphy,
Neville Gallimore also he signed with Miami for 1 year. Left Dallas. That's another defensive. Not that he started every game.
Who did he sign with? Who do you have him with?
Who is that?
What team did it?
Titans.
Okay.
Who signed with the Titans
Hold
for
on,
2 years?
let me look.
Who was that? Let me think.
Hold on. Let me get the
as
internet
we close
to work.
Up my dadgum.
Your dad.
My penmanship is horrible. No, I was trying to put all the OU guys that I saw that got signed.
Kenneth Murray?
Yes, Kenneth Murray. That's it. Kenny Murray.
How does
yes,
that?
I know it makes perfect sense now. It was Kenny Murray. Yes. And Kenny Murray. And I thought that was another loss for. He was a starter for San Diego. I mean, That team.
They
Are they tanking? Is this the first? I mean, because wouldn't they trade their defensive players? Maybe that's going to be a midseason thing, or what are they going to do at quarterback? I mean, obviously the rumor is McCartney, but I don't know how they're going to work that out. And they're sure not going to draft him at 5. That was my whole point. If you trade back down, try to get another one. So because I think that's the only one they have.
Or trade you next year to get in 2 in the first round this year.
Quiet, good teams: 49ers, Lions.
Right. Yeah, you haven't seen anything for Detroit.
Nothing major.
Let's see.
trying to think
New Orleans hasn't done anything. They released Michael Thomas, and
Yeah, who's their backup quarterback now? Who went there?
I forget.
No. Jameis Winston went to the Browns to back them up, I believe. But yes.
And the Browns haven't really done.
No, they've been fairly quiet.
They've been quiet.
The Joe Flacco deal was a disappointment.
The Giants are just losing everything. They traded.
Now they did get the guy from Carolina. Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
but Carolina's
I like that pick.
Carolina's getting rid of that too.
I like that pick, but he was money. That is money.
Carolina,
Banks, was it Banks? Is that his name?
Yeah, Burns.
Yeah, Burns.
Who else? God, you just think of teams that just aren't.
Been real quiet.
Yeah.
But Tampa, I would give credit.
Well, Kansas City hasn't been. I mean,
the Hollywood deal was huge.
They did Chris Jones and.
Oh, Chris Jones was huge too. Now Snead is the last one left.
Yeah.
What are they gonna do there?
But that's their own guy. That's what I'm saying. That's their own.
But they hadn't signed him yet. And talking about possible trades. But I think what that is they were like, hey, I don't think we need to pay a safety $20 million a year. So go find you some money somewhere else.
Green Bay's done a lot of moves.
They got younger with Jacobs, I'd say, and they
Denver
Bakakari,
has
they
gotten rid of all of their 2021 draft picks
and got cap space. Who's your quarterback?
Simeon, isn't it? No.
Who is it?
Drew Lock? No,
he went to Seattle.
Sherman.
Coming to you live next week. Who is the Broncos? No, I was just thinking about it because I thought Fields would have been a good fit for the Raiders too. You see, they don't have a quarterback either.
They got Gardner Minshew.
But I mean, it's
Jimmy Garoppolo went to
Rams backup. But do you think that? I mean, is Gardner Minshew really the guy you're going with as the Raiders after you've brought some people in?
Who were we looking at?
Oh, we wanted to know who the Denver Broncos starting quarterback was. Not that guy.
Jared Stidham.
That is him. It is. It's Stidham. Yeah. Remember the college he played for?
Stidham?
Come on.
Oklahoma State?
No, people are talking right now. They're like, we know this guy. Baylor. He was a Baylor guy.
Oh, that's right.
That's right.
Who cares? Baylor's garbage.
Well, no, he was actually a pretty good quarterback. Not NFL quarterback.
I think it was their last good quarterback. Because they lost their current quarterback to Ole Miss.
No, who
Mississippi
knows?
State.
I don't even want to talk about that college. That free agency's nuttier than this one. So, all right. Well, thank you.
We're not going to know anything on that until the season begins.
That's exactly right. Well, thank you all for joining us. I appreciate everyone listening. Me and Sean, thank you. We'll see you next week. We'll talk about any more of the free agent signings. We're going to talk about the NFC East next week. That'll be the local Dallas Cowboy flavor and what they didn't do for that. So, including Pollard, Smith, anybody else.
Vander Esch.
Yeah, well, retirement.
Gallup.
So, yeah, Gallup too.
They've lost O-line guys too.
Pollard. Yeah.
I said O-line.
Oh, that was Tyron Smith. Lost one of their best ones, yeah.
So.
All right, well, thank you all for joining us. Appreciate it. Love y'all. We'll see. And then Selection Sunday is tomorrow, so enjoy that. We'll talk about the matchups. Hell, we'll already be into round 2 by the time we join you next week.
Yeah,
so
when are the draws going to happen for that?
It'll be we'll know tomorrow, and then it starts.
Sheets, are we?
No, and it starts Tuesday and Wednesday.
We're not picking like we did last year.
Just Hilltop stuff.
Okay.
Thank you, Hilltop Bar, for sponsoring this. All right, we'll talk to you later. Thank y'all.
That's yours, Kenny.
Bye.
That doesn't count.